We're going to be seeing a weekend blast off for crypto here. Basically, I would say all bases are loaded, right? For Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for Total 3, all at the edge of their all time highs. Here is what I'm looking for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is still the driver of this market. If Bitcoin continues, then I would expect Ethereum and Total 3 to be continuing as well. However, some things to be looking out for here as well. Okay, so what I'm looking for this weekend, for this weekly candle close, is for us to have an RSI reading that is going to beat this previous high here on the week of July 21st. As you guys can see, that was the previous high that I should be comparing this next high to, right? To avoid any bearish divergences, because bearish divergence usually indicate a pullback. Now, also going to be looking for a break outside of this bearish pattern, this rising wedge pattern I've been talking about forever. Okay, if you guys been at my channel, you guys would know this bearish pattern, we still have to break out of it. Otherwise, there is still a chance for the bears to come back, looking less likely right now, but you still want to see a break out of this rising wedge pattern. Let's come to the 3-day time frame. 3-day candle basically closes in 7 hours with the daily candle, okay? And what I'm looking for here is if we were to make a higher high here comparing to the last high on the 3-day candle close of August 11th, I'm looking for a major beat here on this RSI reading, right? So if we actually end up like this with the RSI reading like this, that is going to be a bearish divergence scenario with a higher chance of a pullback. Some things to be looking out for. Daily time frame. Daily time frame, we have already beat the previous high here on this daily time frame. So I'm not too worried about this daily candle close. But what I'm looking for is the 3-day candle close, the weekly candle close, and what the RSI readings look like. And of course, a break outside of this bearish pattern. So could that come this weekend? Potentially, right? All right, we're also going to be taking a look into a few altcoin setups later in this video, which will include MOG coin, meme coin, which is meme USDT, and SUSHI swap, which is a request by one of my viewers. If you guys have any requests, you can drop it in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like and comment, subscribe. I will pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis. I will also answer your viewer replies, comments, questions every Wednesday, every Saturday, right? 2 times a week, especially for those replies that would require a longer response than a text response. All right, so you guys want to make sure that you guys are subscribed to this channel going into this bull cycle, because I'm going to be updating you guys on a daily basis what I'm seeing here on the charts, just like I have been for the last couple of months. I have not been flip-flopping. I have been here every day for the last couple of months, through the boring times, through the down times, through the good times as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into some news before diving into the charts of the altcoins and, of course, Bitcoin as well. Let's go ahead and go to the news. This is by The Block. Walmart owned OnePay to launch Bitcoin. Either trading in custody on mobile later this year, reports. Well, we don't have much of the year left, but this is huge. OnePay is owned by Walmart, and Walmart's huge. Okay, I mean, this is not just for people who are, who are online people, like who use PayPal or Venmo, but these are for like the more regular people, because these are Walmart shoppers, right? And Walmart's gonna advertise OnePay to its shoppers. So I think that's definitely gonna put get more people who has not been in the loop into crypto. So that's definitely bullish for crypto. Next piece is by NewsBTC. $231, $231,000 Bitcoin. Citibank issues bold short-term crypto prediction. I think 230. I mean, I think that prediction is very well within the cards. I think it could be part of a blow off top for this bull cycle. Yeah, I think it's in the cards. But what I mean, I think it's probably going to be part of the blow off top. I think it's going to be a crazy blow off top, and I mean, it's gonna. I mean, the bull cycle is going to come to an end like it did before back in 2021, which I have experienced firsthand. And every cycle comes to an end, as we have seen, right? As I have seen, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have been here for quite some time as well. I've seen some of my viewers, and bull cycles come to an end, bear cycles come to an end, boring cycles come to an end. Just gotta take your profits. All right, next here is by Dow Jones Newswire. Bitcoin jumps above 120,000. Why the crypto rally is gaining momentum. Right, I've been talking about this. Why it could be gaining momentum, and one of the main arguments I've been talking about is the Fed rate cuts. Right, the Fed rate cuts. The Fed rate cut cycle has just started back in September. Okay, and it looks like we're gonna get quite a few more. Okay, let's just come over here to the CME Watch tool here. CME Watch tool, which is the tool that I use to predict Fed rate cuts coming for the FOMC meetings, which is coming up in 26 days. Let's do a refresh here. All right, it is okay. We're still looking at a 98% chance of a Fed rate cut in October. And I mean, basically, it's set in stone right now as of these probabilities. But these probabilities do change, so some things to be looking out for. All right, let's take a look here. This is by the author here. Let's take a look into what the author is saying. I also said, aside from the Fed rate cut, right, there has been technical analysis reasons why Bitcoin is still looking very bullish. Altcoins are still looking very bullish. Now, I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here, so my opinions on this market is bullish. And I will change my opinions at some point. And I'll tell you guys why, because that's more important. But these are my opinions only, like the entirety of this video, and it's not financial advice. You gotta develop your own opinions and strategies. Okay, one reason that investors are still feeling bullish is ADP private sector jobs data, which came in weaker than expected, strengthening the case for the Federal Reserve to cut rates at its next policy meeting on October 19th, 29th. Yeah, that's basically in line with my main argument. All right, let's go ahead and go to some trader ideas here. I am always open to the other opinions, the other side's opinions. I am keeping an open mind, just checking myself on, if my argument is still valid, right? So this is why I like to pay attention to some bearish news sometimes when I'm a bull, and bullish news sometimes when I'm a bear. Now, Bitcoin is in the final trap before the crash. Okay, Wyckoff phase C. Let's take a look. Right, this is the 2-day time frame. It looks like this trader is on. It's not a time frame I really use. I use the 3-day, but that's fine. And what this trader is talking about is that it's basically on a downtrend. It looks like. Okay. I disagree. But let's go ahead and see what this person has to say. I mean, this person is basing it off of a Wyckoff pattern here, right? Which you guys should maybe take a look into. I think it's interesting, but I don't think it applies here, right? Let's. I mean, okay, a lot to read into, but I just disagree with what it's saying here, because let me point out to you guys some technical analysis reasons why why I think we're still looking a lot more bullish than bearish at all. We have a potential invalidation, a very likely invalidation of this monthly candle. This is Bitcoin. of a bearish divergence scenario here, right? So if we actually get a significant move here on this monthly candle, this would invalidate any potential bearish divergence scenarios, right? Which would look very strong on this RSI. In addition to what I mentioned on the weekly, 3-day, and daily time frame, if we get a significant move here, that's going to look very strong for those RSI readings on those lower time frames as well. All right, let's take a look into Ethereum, which basically has tapped its all-time highs not too long ago at about 5,000 almost, right? That was already the all-time high, right? It tapped it, but it got rejected, but right now it looks like it's going back for some more and retest that all-time high. It's not far from it, so something to be watching out for. Let's take a look into a lower time frame for Ethereum. Why is Ethereum important? It's because I think that the altcoins are going to follow Ethereum, and Ethereum follows Bitcoin. 3-day time frame for Ethereum here, basically looking like it's trying to break out of this falling wedge pattern. Falling wedge patterns are bullish patterns that usually break to the upside. If this thing breaks to the upside, price target would be about 5,300. Okay. Now, some of you guys asked me when these prices will get to its price targets or a price prediction for a certain time frame. I can't answer that for you because I can only answer it based on what I'm seeing here on the charts. And what I'm seeing here on the charts is based off price targets of these patterns. Now, price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. Okay, a lot of it's going to depend on the supply and demand of the market at that time. So those are going to be external factors that I can't really put, like a tangible method on calculating, right? And I don't think, I don't think I don't think it's good to actually put a guess on it. I'm just going to play it with technical analysis, right? I'm going to account for the scenarios where there could be more, and I'm going to account for scenarios where it doesn't meet its price targets. That's part of risk management. All right, let's go ahead and go to Total 3, which looks like it's trying to break out as well. We're going to come to the monthly time frame here, which I've been talking about this pattern. It is on the edge of a huge breakout for Total 3. Monthly time frame, we are basically right back at the resistance of November 2021. Have you guys been here that long? And the price target for Total 3, which is altcoin market excluding Ethereum, is going to be about $2 trillion. That's going to do some major movements for some of these small cap altcoins. Okay, it looks like it's trying to break out right now. This is a cup and handle pattern. Something to be watching out for. Let's take a look into altcoin setups. MOG coin. What's happening with MOG coin, which is the meme coin? There's going to be a time and place to trade meme coins, and that time and place is probably more appropriate right now, right? Not financial advice. That's just what I'm saying. When Bitcoin is up, you're going to see a lot of these more risky coins coming up, right, with more upside. But, of course, if Bitcoin is down, those are going to take more of a hit, okay? So some things to be considering if you guys are in these coins. Let's go ahead and go to MOG coin here. What's happening with MOG coin? This is the weekly time frame. I've been talking about these patterns for quite some time. Weekly time frame, okay? And what I'm seeing here for MOG coin is that it broke out back here in April. Price target would be about 5 zeros and 245. That price target is still valid because the price action is still above this upper trend line of the pattern it broke out of. And it has formed a few more patterns since the breakout here, including a rising wedge pattern. Now it's important to note that I have updated some of these patterns because some of them got invalidated or some of them just got to be recharted, right? So these are updated patterns. And what I'm seeing here is a rising wedge, that looks like it broke down, right? Breakdown target for MOG coin here will be 6 zeros and 41. Now, since the breakdown here, it has also formed a falling wedge pattern. Falling wedges are bullish patterns. So could the breakdown here be short? Because if MOG coin actually breaks out of this falling wedge pattern here, the price target would be about 5 zeros and 1 5. So some things to be watching out for. Let's see if this breakdown falls short and MOG coin actually reverses from here. Now, there's going to be some resistance along the way. On this weekly time frame, there's going to be the weekly 21 SMA, weekly 50 SMA, some things to be watching out for. Because resistances are usually where traders look to take profits and where you could see a pullback. Now, meme coin, which is meme USDT, talked about this pattern for quite some time as well, which is a falling wedge pattern. It's going to be a very common theme if you guys start charting your patterns. And it broke out back in the first week of July, or July 7th, and the price target is still valid. It's going to be about 2.7 cents, a little above. And since the breakout here, price action has been staying on top of its weekly 21 SMA, right, which is about 0.00215. Let's come over here to the daily time frame. Daily time frame, smaller time frame here, falling wedge pattern broke out again to the upside. Price target here is going to be about 0.00395. I can't really tell you when the price target will be reached, because after it breaks out, what I look for is the breakout still valid? Is the price target still valid? And how I see that is if the price action is still above the pattern that it broke out of. Now, the rest of it's going to be up to the markets, because, the breakout could be a very slow breakout or it could be a very fast breakout. I think it just really depends on the supply and demand at the time. You can't really predict when traders are going to come in, when buyers are going to come in, right? So I think it's just more important to be paying attention to see if the price target is still valid after the breakouts. So this is basically what I'm seeing for meme USDT. It is on top of the daily 21 SMA. Next resistance could be the daily 50 SMA, the white line here. Sushi swaps. What's happening with Sushi swap? Weekly time frame. Actually, this is going to be even a higher time frame, because I talked about a double bottom here on this monthly time frame. Double bottoms are bullish patterns that usually break to the upside. Neckline of this double bottom is at about $2.85. Price target is going to be about $5.20, so pretty major movement for Sushi swap here. Let's see if it gets there, right? Because price targets are estimates only. Now, let's take a look into the weekly time frame here. Weekly time frame, rising wedge pattern, broke down about the week of September 15th. Broke down here. Breakdown target is going to be about 45 cents. Let's see if it gets there, because it has already formed a falling wedge pattern. If Sushi swap actually breaks out of this falling wedge pattern here, then it's looking less likely that the breakdown target will be achieved. Alright, daily time frame. You can see this falling wedge pattern more clearly. Price target for this smaller falling wedge pattern is going to be about $1.10 price targets, if it breaks out by this point, for example. So this is basically what I'm seeing for Sushi swap. Also want to mention that you're going to see quite a bit of resistance from within the pattern here. It is trying to stay on top of its daily 200 SMA, which is support. Daily 21 SMA is going to be next resistance. Daily 50 SMA is going to be resistance shortly after. So this is basically what I'm seeing for some of these coins. Sushi swap, meme USDT, MOG. Let me know if you guys want to continue seeing any more of these coins by dropping a like, comment, subscribe, or any other coins in this market. I'll pick a request due for you guys on a daily basis, and I'll see you on the next one.